Hello everybody, welcome back to day 2 of our local history week here at Monaghan County Libraries, and as promised today we're going to be looking at the census records which are available free of charge online, and to get to them you just go to our webpage monaghan.ie/library and follow the link for genealogy and local history. So when you come to our local history page, then you'll see a link underneath the wee booklet we were looking at yesterday for the Census of Ireland 1901 and 1911. And the census records are provided free of charge from the National Archives. So if you have been on a genealogy website before and they have asked you for payment for access, it's usually because they've put a lot of work into making them, packaging them up nicely for you, but you can go direct to the source and get them for free. So in this case, we're going to the National Archives. So the first thing you notice straight away is it's a very simple layout. You have your search box there with the census year, surname, forename, county, all those basics. So if we go to census year and drop down, you'll see that there's quite a few years listed there, but don't get too excited. Unfortunately, 1901 and 1911 are really the only complete census records that we have. A lot of the earlier census records were destroyed. So if, for example, we go into 1841 and search for Monaghan, it's listed there all right, but once you search, you'll see that there's very, very few records. 3 names, in fact, recorded from that 1841. So we're going to concentrate today on 1911 and 1901. So the first thing, if you have your surname, we can just type it in here. So I'm going to type in McKenna. Now, obviously, in a county like Monaghan, McKenna is going to lead you to a bit of a needle in a haystack, but we'll just do a search of it and see. So if we just search McKenna in Monaghan, and you can see there that there's 1,931. It defaults to 10 per page, but you can change that to 50 or 100. So if we put it up to 100, you can browse through it that way. Now, you can imagine if you didn't have a first name or a townland, it would be quite hard to find who you're looking for in that. So that's why it's useful to have as much information as you can before you start looking at this type of thing. But if you have a more unusual name, for example, Scroggy. So this is a name of a field that I was aware of, Scroggy's Field. So I just typed it in here one day to see if there was actually a Scroggy. And when you do that, you see that there was a John Scroggy. And if I wanted to know more about him, I can click on this little button here that says show all information. And you can see here that he was 35 in 1911. He was originally from County Tyrone. He was able to read and write. He was a nephew of the head of the household and he was single. So if you wanted to see the original record then for John, you can just click into that and you can view the original household return. So you can see there. So this is a type of information you originally would only have ever been able to see on microfilm, but now it's all digitized. So I think it's lovely to see the original handwritten record. So you can see here then that John Scroggy was living with a James Irwin on the land at that stage, and James was a farmer, a widower. So you could hit very lucky, if you did have an unusual name in your family tree, you're trying to find them, you could straight away you find the person that you were looking for then, as opposed to the McKenna where there's hundreds and hundreds. Nice, so we'll just do another search here. This time we go for Woods as the surname and Thomas. And so all we know about Thomas is that he lives in County Monaghan. So if we just do a generic search for the county, you'll see that there's only 11 records, so easy enough to find. I'm just going to change that up to 50 so that everything is in the one page. Now, if you had a rough idea of where he lived, you have your townland here, your district, your county. So if, for example, you thought he was Castleblaney and was aged 8 in 1911 or had a rough birth date of around 1903, you could click in and check and see, is this the Thomas you're looking for? So you can see then this Thomas's father was Terence, his mother was Mary, and he's got 3 siblings. If you want to see a wee bit more information, You can see there it's bringing up the occupation, the married status, the years that they were married. So again, the years that they're married, that could be useful then if you were looking for a marriage certificate in the civil records. And you can see here it says 4 children born and 4 children living. So you may notice in other records, it could be a case that, there could be maybe 9 children born and 4 children living. Unfortunately, the child mortality rate at that stage wasn't great. So just something else to be aware of. And again, if you wanted to look at that original return, just click on the household return form, and it will bring you up the original version of it. So it's a good idea to, if you think this could be anywhere related to your family, rather than having to go in and out trying to come back to the same records, you could download this into a folder on your own computer. So if you have a family history project or a family history folder, say, created, you can just click into that and save the record to your own computer. It just means that you're not going back and forth looking for the same thing the whole time. If perhaps that isn't the Thomas Woods that you're looking for, and the Thomas Wood you're looking for is a little bit older, again, you can see it's listing the ages here. So maybe if we go for this guy who was 72 in 1911. So just something to be wary of as well. In the 1911 census, there was a wee bit of how shall we say it, untruths when it came to age, because the pension was introduced in 1908, and people have come to discover that some people were a wee bit creative with the truth when it came to the ages. They may have added on a few years to themselves just to be able to avail of the pension, because if you were age 70, you were able to collect the pension at that stage. So you can see here Thomas has put himself down as 72. So what you could do is go back to the 1901 census, and maybe we'll just do that just to verify Thomas's age. Not that we doubt him or anything like that, but it's just good to have a backup. So we'll go for Thomas again. And this time we've changed it here to 1901. So there's a lot more of them at this. Oh, actually, we didn't change it to Monaghan. That's the problem there. So we just make sure and set your county. So whenever you change the year of the county, it reverts all the details. So go back to Monaghan. And you can see there we have a Thomas Woods in Carrickmacross, age 61. So this is 10 years earlier, so that would work out. And his wife Lizzie is 30 there as well. So again, if you thought that this was part of your family tree, click in, download. You can see that one there is a little bit blurry. Generally, they are quite good quality whenever you are downloading them, but you could download that one and save it. So then just working back, if you were looking for a birth certificate then for Thomas, if he was 62 or 61 in 1901, it leaves him born around 1839, 1840. Now the civil records didn't begin until 1864, so you wouldn't get a civil birth cert at that stage for Thomas, but you may, as we've seen yesterday, some of the church or parish records have baptism records going back as far as 1835. So that's where the parish records or the church records can come into their own. So that is our little run through of the census. Like everything when it comes to genealogy, there'll just be a lot of hoking and poking and searching around through the different records. Again, just bearing in mind the spelling, the names may be different for the surname, the forename, the townland, parish. They could all be spelled slightly different to what you spell them as today. So just bear that in mind. And if you need to, just browse through the records for your own particular townland or area. So for example, if you knew somebody lived around the Castle Sheehan area, but you weren't exactly sure what townland, you can just do a generic search for Castle Sheehan. And you can see there you have 1,113 records. But if you have a rough idea of, the family name or the head of the household's names or anything like that, just go in, pick your record, have a look through and see. And who knows, you might just hit lucky. So that is it for today. Tomorrow we will be looking at the Griffiths valuations. And again, if you have any questions, our local history librarian is always available, and you'll find her details on our local history page. So again, if you just go to monaghan.ie/library, click on genealogy, And you will find Katrina Lennon's contact details over here in the corner. All right, thanks very much. Chat to you tomorrow.